shed. Wow, part 9. This is moving on apace. I'd just like to say thank you for all the support that people have been giving me. It makes doing these videos worthwhile, to be perfectly honest with you. And I am, on the quiet, quite enjoying it as well. Well, I'm still waiting for my frame, so to stop myself from getting bored, I thought I'd start on a few other things. Thought I'd show a couple of pictures of the side stand as well. It's come up really nice, I'm well impressed. I needed to order some banjo bolts for the front and rear brake calipers, so I took one of the bolts out, had a look at it, got the thread gauge out just to have a nosy, and they're M10B 1.25. So it was straight onto eBay, and I've ordered a full set, with new washers obviously. Another good cheap eBay buy. I love the internet sometimes when it's used right. Nice braided hoses for the front. Okay, so next bit was down to the footrests and footrest hangers. Now, these were minging, so stripping them down was a bit of a chore. The rear brake side was actually better than the gear side. The gear side was properly rusted up. Mate of mine put on the previous video, part 8 I think it is, that why am I using my wire brush when I've got an ultrasonic cleaner? Well, Dave Evans, what a good question. Yeah, I'd forgotten all about it, to be honest, so I've rooted it out, cleaned it out, filled it with deionized water and a bit of washing powder, and I thought, well, yeah, okay, let's give it a try. I've seen it on the telly where they come out like brand new when everything's all rusted up. But first things first, you've got to get the thing apart before you can start cleaning it. This steel pin in the footrest is absolutely solid, so tried with hammer and chisel in my hand. I had a go in the vise as well. It does not want to move, so it's going to get chucked straight into the sonic cleaner as it is. See if that'll help it in any way. Everything's down into its component parts now, so time to chuck it in the water and see what happens. Electric mark whatever for 66 minutes I think I put them in for, just to see how it'd go. After about 35-40 minutes it seemed to be doing its magic. After an hour or so, took all the parts out of the sonic cleaner, and unfortunately they haven't come out like brand new. They're still all dead rusty and a bit of a mess really, so it was back to wire brush bashing. It was my own fault really. Should have used some spirit vinegar or something like that. But I still don't think they'd have come up like new anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Painted up the footrest hangers in black because obviously the frame's going to be in black when it comes back. So we'll be back in black. Whoa, 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 no AC/DC. We'll be breaking copyright laws. Rang up the powder coaters this morning. It's been 8 days now, so I thought I'd give him a buzz, see where we're up to with it. And unfortunately it's going to be another couple, maybe 3 days. So I thought, well, this afternoon I'll get in the shed and I'll go and have a bit of a play with the next thing on the list, which just happened to be the subframe. This is the one I got off eBay, fairly cheap in my eyes I must admit. A lot less rust on this than the original, but while I was sanding I did actually think to myself I might use the original as a bit of a pattern once the frame comes back, as I've got a couple of ideas, maybe cutting off the grab rails and where the rear footrests sit, just to give it a bit of a cleaner look. I'm not putting rear footrests on this bike, I don't think. Once I'd scraped all the rust off with the wire brush, I've just tied it up a little bit with the emery cloth, then hung the subframe up in the shed, primed it up, and as they say in the States, threw some top coat over it. That in black once again. I'll then leave that now for 24 hours. Tomorrow I'll get back in the shed and I'll give it a coat of lacquer just to give it some strength, as I'm on holiday this week and the wife's at work. Thankfully there was just enough paint in the tin, so I was quite pleased with that. Even tried covering my mouth and my nose this time. Never have done for the past 30 odd years or whatever it is that I've been messing around with motorbikes. But hey, safety first. Well, today's Wednesday. I've had a phone call at lunchtime that my frame is ready. Like a kid in a sweet shop. But got one issue, haven't got a car, so won't be going until tomorrow. But I now know I've got a few days where I can spend some time getting this bike back on its wheels. Right, with such good news, this is going to be the last part of the video. Basically, the subframe's all nice and lacquered and dry, so thought I'd start replacing a few bits and pieces. Found myself another eBay super bargain, this one. This LED clear tail light cost me the grand sum of £5. So really I couldn't say no. It's funny how on the first generation bike some things are dead cheap and some things are really, really expensive, even second hand. Anyway, shut up Colin. Right, so time to change the original tail light for the clear one. The fitting plate on the clear one was as rusty as anything, so I thought, well, I might as well change it for the original, seeing as that was in fairly good nick, which surprised me with the state of the original subframe. And it's only a case of 2 screws and a nut. Quite an interesting setup when I took the reflector off. Had a look behind as well. It's got some wires so that you can wire up some indicators through the rear light, but I'm not going to bother, I'll just stick with normal indicators I think. I thought with it being so cheap I better check it, just make sure everything's working, so I got the battery off the other project that I've got in the yard that's rusting away doing nothing, and set it up, tried the brake light, tried the backlight, and everything seems to be working fine. And then it was just a case really of mounting plate on and then attaching it onto the subframe itself. I made a proper meal of mounting this light onto the subframe. It's only 3 bolts, but my goodness me, it must have taken me about 10 minutes because I couldn't get the bolts in the holes, and when I did, one of the bolts fell out, etc, etc. What a pain. But eventually I got them in, and while I was about it I thought I might as well fit the regulator rectifier as well. Only 2 bolts and a damn sight easier than putting the light on. So that's it for this one. I'm going to call it a day. Next video could be a proper rolling chassis, or I'm going to bore you with building it all back up again. So love you and leave you. Thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next instalment.